Welcome back, lady and gentlemen, for this week's topical video,
The problem with boomers.
Like always off the bat here, like and subscribe. The locker room is linked down below. No man is an island, it's better to be in a community. Private community of switched on guys, we can ask each other questions and iron will sharpen iron. No man is an island and lone wolves die alone. Today's video is about solutions. Let's start at the end and work backwards. In order for society as a whole to move past our insane appetite for more, to get off of the hedonistic treadmill, men need mentors. And I know that it's crazy to suggest that men and women might be different in modern times.
She's not a Christian!
But young women have a much easier time transitioning to adulthood than young men, because girls are born from women and then raised by women. Her only job is to differentiate from her mother. However, a young boy is born of a woman and then raised by a woman, and then he's expected to learn what a man is. He knows someday he must become a man, and yet he has no idea what that really means. That's why G.I. Joe, He-Man, and Splinter were so popular.
By the power of Grayskull.
His little mind must project the image of man onto something because he has no representation of that at home. You see, dad is off working all day. Currently, as it stands in the United States, a young boy gets only 2.5 hours a day with his dad. Now you tell me, how many of that actual 2.5 hours is actually spent with quality time with dad? For the most part, no. He's got better things to do, like sports, read the paper, finger his phone. The truth is that young boys get almost no time with fathers, and that is a problem. The absence of his father's closeness negatively affects his epigenetics. By not smelling his dad, he's lacking in his hormonal development. Studies showed that exposure to certain human pheromones, particularly those found in male sweat, like andostatinone, have a direct effect on testosterone in men. And by women, by the way. Just being around your girl will raise her testosterone levels and help to regulate her hormones. But this video is not about your wife. This is a video about young men. Even if mom has a full-time job, the majority of social work is done by women. More teachers are women. More caregivers are women. And a lot of women are stuck in the shadow archetype of the devouring mother.
Covert incest.
I do believe that if boomers knew where the future was going with women's empowerment, like if you tied a string to that stone and chucked it in the future and then followed it forward, I don't think they ever would have predicted naming Bruce Jenner as Woman of the Year.
Austin, why on earth did you hit that woman?
Right, let me show you, baby. That ain't no woman. It's a man.
Covert incest comes because a woman's brains are like spaghetti. Everything in there is intertwined and is touching each other. Men's brains are more like waffles. We got these little compartments we put everything in. That's why it's easier for them to transmute sexual energy. Esther Perel, in her book Mating in Captivity, calls it Eros redirected. But in modernity, women have no incentive for self-reflection, because modern women are getting gassed up for any decision they make. Stay at home? Awesome! Go to work? Awesome! Be a prostitute? Awesome! That escalated quickly. Every negative decision can be glamorized. The devouring mother is basically a codependent relationship developed with the child. There is no differentiation in her mind between her and the child. It's just an extension of herself. In an interview, one woman holding a photograph of her 20-year-old son who drowned to death was quoted as saying, "It's better this way. At least I don't have to give him to another woman." Some men will never break free from this codependency, and this leads them to very troublesome outcomes. Traditional cultures would have had a clean break with the mother. The Maasai tribes would gather all the men together with spears, sneak into camp at night, and steal away the child from his mother. If only we could all be that lucky. The women would play along and wail and scream for the loss of their child. After 8 years old, he would no longer be with the mother, he'd be with the men. And he'd be known as a man after the initiation. This brings us to the problem of boomers. And most modern dads, by the way. I guess I can understand with boomers because while dad was at war, he was being raised by the women. And then once he hit 18, he was off to work. I just don't understand why. It makes no sense at all. It's so dumb that we wait until young men have to be 18 before they can leave and get a job.
You're so dumb. You are really dumb.
I'm going to rant on this a little bit because this is really stupid to me. I understand we don't want a repeat of the clam shuckers, but there's got to be a better way. In traditional times, boys at 8 would spend a lot of time with dad on the farm, or in the trades with his father in his business. This was necessary for the clean break with the mother for him to learn how to become a man. Modern labor laws are basically state-sanctioned mother smother until 14. Then at 14, you're only allowed to work after school hours, and you can't exceed 18 hours a week. And this is only for family businesses. There's something really dumb as a nation to say that you can buy booze at 21, but you can buy smut and die for your country at 18. They're all over the place. How do you go from mother smother until 17 to stabbing a man in the face with a bayonet? And then boys are raised with all these expectations from society.
Oh, you're the man of the house while daddy's gone. That loaf, he can't do anything right. Oh, but you, little Timmy, your mama's perfect little man.
And then we wonder why boys get so ugly in their adolescence against their mother. He's trying to break free from that codependency. A lot of times in divorce cases, he wins the mother from the father, and then he doesn't know what the heck to do with her. And then we give them no explanation of what masculinity should look like. At least in the 80s, we had Rambo. Now you have Captain Marvel.
The Marvels.
Ray.
I'm the Jedi. No, you're absolutely not.
Bipsy and a Mini. We're not buying it. Nobody is. Nobody can relate to this crap. No girl dreams of going to space. Chill out, Becky. The exception doesn't make the rule, okay? Just because you have one story about like a cousin once removed's aunt's uncle's niece, nephew, daughter, doesn't degrade 1,000 years of evolutionary biology. Back to the problem with boomers. Men have the burden of performance when they're young, so they learn to develop the king and the warrior. Now, archetypes just make the abstract a little more concrete, so it's easier to know what we're talking about. As they grow older, they get tired of living in this archetype, and naturally they start gravitating towards the lover. Like Thanos, all he wants to do after kicking butt for 40 years is sit by some water and chill with nature. He's tired of a life of aggression, so he leans hard towards the lover or the magician. But mostly you see nowadays it's the lover, especially with boomers. Either he wants to experience life unapologetically for the first time in 40 years, or he just wants to sit quietly by water and contemplate. The problem is that the lover is no good at mentoring, and the magician just easily becomes a hermit. So while dad's off playing on his motorbike, Timmy is getting indoctrinated by his mother to hate himself, and masculinity is painted with the bad brush. That's why you see so much masochistic behavior among modern men.
You know, we're gonna see how it feels to have it be out there.
It's gonna be great. You're a winner.
Oh my God, when I'm talking, you're not talking. No, when I'm talking, you're not talking.
The shadow side of the warrior archetype is masochism or sadism. In modern times have disempowered men, so they lean harder towards masochism. Women have the opposite problem. They have the privilege to stay in the lover archetype for the majority of their lives, so they end up getting bored and looking for a challenge. So they start swinging hard towards the warrior queen archetype. The problem is that a lot of women are not incentivized to self-reflect by society. Therefore, it's pretty easy for them to constellate towards the animus of the negative archetypes. The animus is basically the negative masculine side of women. And you see this a lot with modern women. They project onto men what they want from men, and if they don't give that to them, they just become it. And if you're not aware of the anima and the animus, trust me, it's aware of you, and it does not like you. It's that little voice in the back of your head that tells you you're not good enough. It tells you to quit. It tells you you'll never amount to anything. And if you listen to it, you constellate towards a shadow. So she constellates towards the shadow queen. Constellation is basically a materialist way of saying possession. It's basically saying that you're magnetized to that, like you're drawn to it like a magnet. And the shadow queen is controlling, and she infantilizes everything.
Her chihuahua's her fur baby.
And her husband is just another child to take care of. You see it all the time. Her child is actually treated like respectfully like a man, and then she talks down to the husband. She serves him as every little whim, but when the husband asks for something, it's like, get bent. If it breathes, she will mother it. This always comes with the other archetype, the warrioress. And this usually doesn't lean towards the masochistic side. This one usually leans towards the sadist side. The sadist derives pleasure from inducing pain or humiliating others. Just approach a girl in public and see where she goes. They want to fight and control everything. Pretty accurate description of the reviling wife. Whether or not you're a Christian and you think that this is demonic possession, or you're a materialist and you think this is chemicals, the outcome is exactly the same. We're basically just talking past each other at this point. Archetypes are just easy ways for explaining things and predicting future behavior. And you see, this is why a lot of older men like younger women. They're both in tune with the lover. The lover just wants to have a good time and experience. And the fix for this, I believe, is that young men need to learn how to access the lover archetype a little earlier in life. Make more time for hobbies. Plan that fishing trip. Find ways to express your creative energy. Join a salsa dance class. That way, when you hit 40, you don't just nuke your life. Because young men need you. Stay in the fight. It's proper pacing. If you go out too hot, you're gonna hit the wall. I do CrossFit and it's always funny to me, like when you start a WOD and the guy next to you is just ripping it, just going, and you're taking your time. At the end of that 20-minute workout, you'll always end up beating that person. Personally, I struggle with this myself, but you gotta find ways to slow down and enjoy the little things. It's easy to set that stuff aside because duty calls, bills, taxes, setbacks always pop up. It's hard to slow down and find enjoyment in the little things. It's like the scene in The Last Samurai. When the wind blows, take time to feel it. And for the love of everything, get rid of the mindset of retirement. You're just gonna sit back like, well, I've done my time. Forget that, look around. Young men need your guidance and your wisdom. They're struggling. Don't wait for them to come to you. Be proactive. It's the old guy's rule. Until next time.